Сейчас. Всем привет, дорогие друзья! Привет из Киева, столицы Украины. Hello, my dear friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. And this stream is about entomology. You know, my channel, Dr. Victor Fursov, entomologist, beekeeper, teacher. And my channel is devoted to entomology and insects and nature. And actually, how to love insects, how to enjoy them, how to love nature, how to observe, how to protect, and how to study insects and entomology. This is a subject of my research because I'm a professional entomologist and I'm studying parasitic wasps, very tiny parasitic wasps, which are shown here on this poster. This poster is named calcid wasps. Difficult Latin name, English name, calcid wasps, because they belong to superfamily, as it was invented by taxonomists, superfamily Calcidoidae in the order Hymenoptera, like the another insects like wasps, bees, sawflies, and bumblebees, and of course ants. They all belong to Hymenoptera. And today I'm joining you together with my assistant Tosha, which will assist us, who will be sitting here listening to my lecture and of course enjoying very much the same as you are, because I'm very pleased to celebrate today the day of 2,000 and more subscribers who came to my channel. Thank you very much indeed, and I'm just promised to my subscribers and followers to make more video in English, to talk more in English, because more people can listen to me in English and observe and understand in English, because sometimes, of course, I'm watching in other channels like Japanese, Korean channels, Chinese, and I do not understand practically nothing and anything. But if somewhat people who are just amateurs, who are entomologists, who are biologists, can speak English, this is a great improvement to be together with my subscribers, with you viewers, if you are not yet subscriber, because some people do not understand what means just to press on the button to subscribe, but it is improving the channel. It's just multiplicating just viewers on YouTube, because YouTube making some kind of algorithms, some computer engines who just push channel or just stop channel if people like it, so YouTube will push it. If nobody didn't watch it, so it's just going slowly. So just press on like, press on subscribe, and write your comments. This is very useful just to push forward the channel. And today I really appreciate and say many thanks to my subscribers, 20,000 subscribers. Of course, active subscribers and active followers, not so many, because people are a little bit lazy to write comments, because it needs to press on the buttons, to press on your keyboard just to type comments. Write your comments right here, just on this part. Just ask your questions as well. For instance, I'm not sure how many people will join us later, because it will be going just as subscribed, as already recorded mode later. But today I also will talk about a little bit about entomology. Entomology, well, how people come into entomology and study insects. Mostly people come to the interest in insects in their childhood. For instance, in Russian, in Ukrainian languages was translated this book, which is published, and author is Jan Larry. Name you see here, Unusual Adventures of Carrick and Valley. And you see here small kids, and they're sitting on ladybird. So this is a very famous book which was published several times, many times in the former USSR. Now I'm not sure how many times it was published. So, and here some tales about children who were just became with a professor because they drank a little bit special liquid and they became small, and they had some kind of adventures in the field, in the forest, in many places as a small children, very tiny like insects. And here this is a book with description of their adventures. Just some of them fighting with wasps, with beetles, with grasshoppers, with dragonflies as small children. And this book was very useful for many generations of children to attract their attention to insects. I'm quite sure that there are several. This was a special movie on Hollywood movie about how, probably Polish movie, how one just person entomologist became small, and this was a kind of adventure, like a person became small like ant. And Hollywood movie can create a really great movies as well. But actually, this book attracted attention of children to the world of insects because children were smaller, were just closer to the ground, they can watch insects easily. And for them, even small dog is a big dog, and small insect is a big insect. Even small rhinoceros beetle in a palm of a child is a really big rhinoceros beetle, very big one. And it maybe can be scary to touch the dog, but to touch insect and to touch a rhinoceros, nothing dangerous. Don't be afraid of insects. You can touch with the insect. You can take the hand the tarsi of insect. You can try to feed insect with water, with honey. And it is very interesting because behavior of insects really very unusual, very surprising. And of course later some people becoming curious about insects and just kind of take them to some boxes after potatoes or after tomatoes. Or people can read some books about insects, about the most attractive insects like beetles, because they're shiny, they have different stories. So some of them were very big, like this one, huge one. Not so many of them were huge, but in some countries people like to observe and can collect even huge beetles, like here these beetles from South America. Especially this one, I love it very much with two horns. Definitely, absolutely beautiful, and you can see not on picture but in the nature, it's amazing, absolutely fabulous. And of course you can also not only read and just watch different insects on photographs, but you can create your personal photographs, because now everyone has a gadget, everyone has an iPhone, or at least telephone, smartphone, so you can take photos. Yes, hello, who just joined us. Hello to Azerbaijan. So you can take photos, you can upload them to Facebook, to some social nets, or even to some such kind of pleasant, interesting, and fabulous net as a iNaturalist.com. iNaturalist.com, you can upload photos of insects. You can enjoy photos, and another people can share your view as well, because like these weevils, these funny weevils, absolutely gorgeous. They're shining, they're hairy, they're very surprising. Some of them were very big. Okay, in Japan they're not so big, but they're shining and they're everywhere. We're sitting on kuzu wine plants, and I'm very pleased to say that Japanese really appreciate insects very much because this is their culture. And like this one, Giraffe Beetle with Giraffe Beetle from Madagascar. Of course, nature is really destroyed in many places in Madagascar, but hopefully in some reservation areas, some local populations will survive of these weevils with so long nose and with so long-necked Atelabide leaf-rolling beetles, or these wood-boring beetles like this one with huge mandibles. It's from South America. Or this wood-boring beetle with so huge antennae. Antennae is so big, 3 times bigger than the body. So the structure of insects really surprising and interesting. Like this beetle, wriggling beetle, which is the family Geniteus. So it's laying on water, so half of this eye can watch upstairs, halfway in the air, and half of eye watching just under the water. Wriggling beetle. Also, what about flight of insects? Flight of insects, absolutely amazing, absolutely surprising. So can fly in different directions, different very quickly. Even a rhinoceros beetle or another scarabid beetles, they fly very fast and in an unpredictable direction. So if you can try to catch it, so direction is easily changed, and you're just running, and beetle is flying, and escaping, of course. And some of insects like this big one has huge mandibles for protection, and for fighting with another males, for just female. And of course, it can be dangerous for humans if you catch it. Oh, this harlequin beetle with huge 4 legs, absolutely fantastic. Also quite useful legs for crawling on trees, on branches of trees. And to be like a small fruit, maybe on, and of course also for fighting with another male who is stronger, and like these scarabid beetles has special legs to move in the soil and to create a bowl of food. Or these absolutely gorgeous leaf beetles from Cassidinae subfamily, and family this is chrysomelid beetles, leaf beetles, lovely beetles. And here probably will be some beetles in color, and here huge white and black. Yes, here some colorful like this scarabid beetles, which I use like jewelries. Okay, this is Cerambicide beetles. Again, Cassidide with this one, Cassidine, and this is a Carabide beetles. Some of them were quite big, about 3-4 centimeters, and really very nice. And of course, you see here big photographs, and this is also just a reflection of light and a reflection of art of photography. So you can create a really absolutely fantastic and wonderful pictures of different beetles and insects if you catch them not only in collection but in the nature, like this one. Long-necked weevils, and this one is a hairy weevil. Absolutely very funny. Or again, weevils, very funny weevils with huge neck and nose, And so here the development of larvae, big larvae, Meloidae beetle, and eggs of different beetles as well. And so larvae beetles with huge antennae. Not only beetles enjoyable subject, of course, butterflies. Butterflies, this is a very attractive subject. People enjoy very much butterflies because they're like a flying flowers. Flowers were flying slowly like souls of people. So some Indians in some countries were protected just from catching. But of course, if collectors pay money for butterflies, even in some distant areas with not so diligent education, people will collect all butterflies, and butterflies very popular for collecting. And of course, some poor people in many poor countries, maybe not so poor countries, but some people in some countries poor, by the way. So that's why poor people and greedy people are collecting butterflies for money. Some people are not very poor, some people are very rich, so they are ready to buy from poor and greedy people these butterflies for money, and money is just destroying the nature and destroying butterflies as well. Some people say butterflies are laying as many eggs, and it's very difficult to destroy the population of butterflies. Maybe if the area is large, it is possible. It is difficult. But if the area is limited, like nature reservation, like slopes of some mountains, which are just not very huge, quite limited, but dozens of collectors, dozens of greedy people come into some natural reservations and protected places to catch butterflies for money, for sale, and to take them just not dozens but hundreds. That's why there are some butterflies which are under protection, were in some lists of protected species, and more clever people were just making special butterfly farming areas where we can plant for butterflies, some plants from the nature, protect them from birds, and butterflies will lay eggs, caterpillars will grow, and then just they pupate and hatch butterfly. So in this case, on artificial breeding area like a zoo, nature zoo inside the forest, some butterflies will be protected from extermination. Of course, butterflies were just very sensitive to some parasites, the egg parasites, caterpillar parasites, larval parasites, and pupal parasites, which regulate the numbers in the nature. But this is the rule. It's Hymenoptera parasitoids like this one. They're just destroying population of butterflies. And we cannot see many of them because some butterflies quite rare because they are under the pressure of parasitoids, parasitic wasps, and of course some big butterflies, large size butterflies, they are under high pressure of collectors, amateurs collectors, and some professional entomologist collectors who are also not only researchers who only study insects, some of them a little bit or very much greedy. So they like very much money and they're making their profession and they're making money collecting butterflies, beetles, and selling them, and also taking photographs and publishing some books in semi-scientific books without any scientific review, without any scientific evaluation and discussion. But butterflies very attractive, and so for many people are ready to buy butterflies for huge money, especially in some rich countries like America, United Kingdom, France, and especially Japan, where butterflies and some rare beetles and living beetles as well, and in Korea, South Korea as well, they're under demand. So some people, some little bit, as I said, poor people or greedy people, or not to say hungry people, yeah, greedy people, and from some rich countries like America, United Kingdom, France, Germany, even from country, huge one from Atlantic to Pacific like Russia, and even the same from smaller countries, Ukraine. Some greedy people are ready to catch butterflies and to sell them for money. Sale of butterflies is very popular in the former USSR, and collecting of butterflies and extermination them from the nature is very popular in the USSR. So you can find many species of butterflies on list on Amazon, and some greedy collectors who are selling them, who are catching them in the nature in different countries, and where they are under protection. So that's why if some countries becoming really crazy to do not allow collect anything like in Madagascar, in Peru, in Brazil. Sometimes it sounds really crazy, but in some cases it can be useful because in other professional entomologists who are coming for study insects and butterflies and animals, they will come there with the native scientists, native entomologists, and will study together, make a joint collaboration study of insects and other animals who are under protection and who are not exterminated, but who can study them carefully everywhere in Madagascar, in Brazil, in Peru, in Argentina, in Australia, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Papua New Guinea. But some countries making very strict regulations and do not allow to collect butterflies and beetles and other animals. So this is a very difficult, but of course if you are coming together with a native scientist, you will receive special permission for collecting for their research. The same in some countries in Europe, collecting is limited to certain areas, and people should have special permission for collection, because now everywhere land is private stuff, so people can collect animals and can collect butterflies, beetles, and other insects having special permissions, because as I said, in many countries in Europe, including a huge Russian Federation and not so huge Ukraine, and in other neighboring countries and many countries of Europe, collecting for money, for greedy instincts, really very popular, because nature is considered to be as a resource. Resource, yes, renewable resource. How do you think the insects are resource or really wealth or maybe heritage for future generation? That's a simple question. People consider it as a resource. You go to the forest or the field, collect it for free and sell it for money. It's a great pleasure to becoming a little bit warfare just to drink beer or just to sake or to drink cognac somewhere in Thailand, or maybe in South America and in South Africa and even in Angola, to sell huge beetle for money and receive a little bit money. Very good. But are insects worth it for protection and for study? Or maybe some insects, or every insect should be destroyed. Destroyed because many people consider that insects, only butterflies and beetles, were nice insects. Other insects should be destroyed because they are pests of agriculture, pests of forestry, and pests of humans. But what about another insects who are just plant protector, but plant pollinators, which insects who are wood destroyers, insects who are soil makers, We have really great wealth for nature. How do you think about their protection? They should be protected for sure. And what about collecting? Are insects wealth for collection, or they're just wealth for nature? How do you think this is? How quickly the richness of biodiversity of insects, biodiversity of butterflies, just restored, extincting? How do you think this resource of butterflies, insects, and other animals and other insects self-restoring in the nature? How quickly it should be? How quickly nature is self-healing? In some areas it is possible, as I said, in huge large areas like maybe Brazil, some protected areas of Brazil, but in some areas under huge pressure of humans, where just many forests are destroyed with rapid, huge speed. In these destroyed places, the nature is just under the great pressure, not only fires like in Europe and Siberia and Australia, but also just destruction, just cutting forests and destroying nature. Because wood is sold for money, and many plants like a Coca-Cola, not a Coca-Cola, but cola is sold to make drugs, and so nature should be destroyed, can be destroyed easily for money. In these cases, at least some entomologists, some biologists still can collect some insects for scientific purpose. You can collect insects in jars and boxes. You can absorb insects in some containers. You can put insect in container. Not so big insect. Container should be corresponding to the size of insect. Bigger insect, bigger container should be. Even some small insects, they like bigger containers because we should have a space, maybe also with some moisture, with some plants inside the container for the study, so you can absorb it. And of course, many insects should be collected with butterfly net, but it's up to you how many insects you can collect. And of course, collecting insects with your video camera, maybe not so worthy because you cannot touch insects, but it's worthy for the nature. So you do not destroy insects, you do not kill insects. So they still will be flying around in the forest, in the field, in the pond, in the lake, or just around pond, around lake, like aquatic insects, semi-aquatic insects. They will be enjoying the nature. But if you are collecting them, at least try to collect them in limited number. Do not collect hundreds, thousands of the same species, or you can say of the same size, because only professional entomologists, they can collect some insects carefully, with some careful but attention, with careful attitude. Collect just certain amount of insects for your collection, for observation, to keep it okay in winter time, during the whole year, for the study, for enjoyment, to keep them in boxes like that. Butterflies, beetles. So you can show it for your relatives, for your friends. You can show these insects also for scientists. You can consult about taxonomical name of insect, and also you can consult with some identificational keys with books. You can find many digital books on web, on internet. So entomology becoming, you are going to field for field collecting and a digital study of entomology. With the digital books, you can carefully study same butterflies and beetles and identify them to give them appropriate Latin name and English name or Thai name or just Japanese name. So because every insect, every animal has a special name, scientific name, and of course it is very pleasant and interesting to know correct name. So you will be very clever to collecting cockroaches, big beetles, big rhinoceros beetles in your areas, because some big beetles very attractive, but do not destroy everyone. Do not collect immediately 100 beetles every day, every summer for money. Don't be so greedy. Don't be so greedy. Try to remain in the nature, at least some part of insects in the nature. Some insects very small, they can escape from a butterfly net because they're very rapid, very quick. They're flying very quickly. But another insects, they're slow and they can be collected as in butterfly net, like these butterflies. But of course, they can be used for education, very easy, well observed size, attractiveness, easy to explain, where do they live, how they eat, what do they eat, which plants do they like, to talk about life cycle of insects. This is extremely interesting for children especially. And if you collect some beetles, remain some beetles for nature conservation, because beetles, this is also not a resource for your money, but this is also a resource for education, and this is a food resource for the nature, for birds, and also this is a resource like a wood destroyers, as soil makers. So they live in many beetles, like in a soil, in a wood, by eating some plant material. So they very important in the cycle of nature. Even some dangerous insects, they're worthwhile. They're worthy because these hornets were dangerous for humans. They're dangerous for humans, but these are European hornets. They're dangerous for humans because they're stinging very strongly and dangerously. So that's not only painful, this is dangerous for health and can be dangerous even till the death, because some people are allergic and it's painful and very much indeed. But in the nature, very useful predators. They eat another insects when they regulate population of some butterflies, caterpillars, grasshoppers, some beetles, many phytophagous insects, and of course they can eat even just honeybees if they live near honeybees and near beehives. But if forest is far away, they do not destroy honeybees at all, because they have enough food in the forest. But some species of hornets, I will tell about it in my next stream about Asian hornet, becoming dangerous because they're aggressive, they can attack, and they can live in many areas, even in a city, in a village, close to humans. So some species of hornets becoming like invasive species. The invasive species in such areas like Europe, because small Asian species of hornet, Vespa velutina, just have been introduced accidentally to Europe, and it's a huge problem now for humans and for beekeeping, because they really destroy honeybees very much, and they're making these size small nest and a huge nest like this one, huge size of weighing several kilos in many areas near humans. And of course, in these cases, some dangerous insects like Asian hornet, Vespa velutina, must be exterminated. But entomologists We're not only professional entomologists who are studying behavior, taxonomy, and many physiology, anatomy, structure of insects, but some entomologists were just beekeepers. Beekeepers can be considered also as an entomologist. So number of beekeepers bigger than just professional entomologists, because entomologist, this is profession, person should work either in scientific research organization or maybe scientific college or maybe just in university, and the number of universities and scientific organizations are quite limited. But beekeepers, here some just pieces of wax cells and some parts of honeybees, some here queen cells, and here some wasps. Oh, sorry about this. Turn backward. Here queen cells, so worker cells, and here some honeybees, Apis mellifera, and also here Vespa crabra, and then also some Scolia, which are not dangerous. Scolia are not dangerous, but Vespa is dangerous, hornet is dangerous. So beekeepers, very useful entomologists who are producing honey, because the practical entomologist can be considered as a practical entomologist producing honey, creating different types of beehives with different types of breeding equipment, and so we have a different beehives, and I'm talking about these beehives and about these frames on my channel as well. So here inside these wax cells, it was after the honey. Yeah, it smells a little bit because it was after the honey, and when after honey it's put inside the hive, honeybees were cleaning, they're eating just remnants of honey here, and it's becoming just only honeybee cells, which is used either for brood later inside the beehive or just for collecting honey as well. So, and we appreciate very much the work of beekeepers and work of honeybees for honey. And I'm talking about these different types of beehives and this special Ukrainian frame of my colleague from Ukraine, Vasil Priyatelenko beehive, very special one and very interesting, very productive and effective. So you can watch on my channel about this very special frame and this special structure and very special beehives. So this is a story today for you about entomology, beekeeping, nature conservation, butterflies conservation as well. I will be showing you later more stories about entomology, about insects, and I hope you can come to my channel not only for lectures but also to enjoy some vision of different insects, not only digital insects on internet. So because on stream on YouTube you can see digital insects, but from time to time you can go just directly to the forest, to the field, closer to the pond, to the lake, to the river, observe insects inside their natural habitat, somewhere on grass, on trees, just on wood, on walls, on the soil, everywhere, because insects were living everywhere in each piece of earth, even in Antarctic. Some insects, not many, because it's too cold. In Arctic, more insects, as I told you about here on Wrangel Island near Yakutia with a minus 50 degrees centigrade frost, but insects can survive. So we hope so that insects will not be destroyed because of this kind of artificial apocalypse for insects, which have been just proclaimed by some scientists. But hopefully it's not coming, it's not going on, and insects can survive as they survived during millions of years. but scientists can study them, can make scientific publications, and can observe them, and can explain for another people about the importance of insects, importance of their study, importance of predators, importance of parasitoids like these insects. And welcome to my channel where I'm talking about nature, about insects, about how to save them, how to protect them, how to study insects and entomology. And this is the subject of my channel. Welcome to my channel. You can select different folders, different sub-themes, some subjects about Hymenoptera, beetles, bees, different subjects in English, in Russian. So up to you, what do you understand about some pests, how to read of some pests, how to be careful about them, how do not worry about insects, how, if you do not say to love insects, how do not afraid of them. And this is the subject of my channel, and I'm pleased to introduce my channel and my profession, my curiosity and my interest. So welcome to my channel. You can find many interesting subjects for your watching, for your surprise. So you will enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Press like, write your comments, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to visit special page which is named Patreon page. I found that some even YouTube channel with millions of subscribers, they have a Patreon page. Yes, so Patreon page, this is page for donations. For donations, if you want to improve my video, to improve just the subject of nature conservation, to see more stories about insects, welcome to my Patreon page. You can send a little bit money or more money for support of our channel. And in the world of capitalism, this is the subject of our life. We're living because of we're eating, and we're eating because we're going to the shop, and we're taking some photographs because we're using different cameras. And to get camera, we're also going to the shop to improve the camera, improve the quality of video, and for that, support on Patreon, it will be very useful. And to go to the field, to collect something, to find something, to observe something, to study something among insects. This is very useful if you have some support. And this is a motivation. This is financial motivation, which is showing that some videos, some subjects, some projects were interesting, especially for you, here, now, and in the future. So welcome to Patreon. I really, and I'm really now as well, appreciate very much my sponsors, my patrons on Patreon, and more patrons are welcome. Welcome. One drop of just your support in $1 or more will be very helpful and useful. Thank you very much for your support. Good luck and see you soon on my channel. Bye bye. See you soon on my channel. I will write welcome to Patreon. To my Patreon. Page. Well, welcome to my Patreon page. Thank you very much for coming. Good luck and see you soon on my channel.